This is Shopify Masters, the e-commerce marketing podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs. It's powered by Shopify, the easiest way to sell online, in person, and anywhere in between. To start your free 14-day trial, visit shopify.com. Hey entrepreneurs, my name is Felix and I'm the host of the Shopify Masters podcast. Each week we put out podcast interviews with successful e-commerce entrepreneurs or experts to give you inspiration, motivation, and actionable tips to increase your traffic and sales so your store can generate the sales you need to live the life you want. On the last episode, we talked about how Woody from FaucetFace.com uses routines and habits to successfully build his business. On today's podcast, you'll learn from an entrepreneur that partners with YouTubers and bloggers to drive traffic and sales to his store. In this episode, you'll learn why showing the behind the scenes of your business can be great content for your customers, the difference between selling to the European, US, and Japanese markets, and how to analyze if a YouTuber will be a good fit for your product and your brand. Today, I'm joined by Thomas Bertrand from BentoandCo.com. That's BentoandCo.com. Bento & Co. brings you the best bento boxes directly from Kyoto, Japan, and was started in 2008. Welcome, Thomas.
Hi, thank you, Felix.
So tell us a little bit more about your store and what are some of the most popular products that you sell?
We sell some mostly Japanese bento boxes. We also sell like a lot of bento accessories, Japanese kitchenware, typical Japanese bento boxes in plastic, the one you can use like every day and put in a microwave. And also like a lot of onigiri, so the rice balls, accessories are selling very well too.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your experience. Like, what's your background? How did you get into this kind of business?
So I live in Japan since 2003, but I'm from France actually. And in 2003, I came here to study at Kyoto University for 1 year. I thought I'd be here just for 1 year, but it has been now 13, 14 years. And yeah, I'm still in Kyoto and I really love this city. So yeah, just after I graduated, I decided to stay 1 more year here and 1 more here. And then I just decided, if I want to stay in Kyoto, I didn't find any good job. I should make my own. And actually, in 2005, I started my own blog. It was in French only. It was just about Kyoto, about life in Japan. Thanks to my blog, I just learned how to use internet. Before that, I just check emails and check news on internet. But thanks to my blog, I bought a camera. I did some podcasts too. I just took pictures of everything interesting I saw in Japan, and talk about life in Japan. And I got about 800, 1,000 readers every day, and people who just like Japanese culture. So I just thought maybe I could do some business for my blog. So it was in 2006. Shopify just came out. There was a beta of Shopify. I created an account. At first, I just saw like some T-shirts and other Japanese stuffs through my blog on these small Shopify shops. But it's really in 2008. At that time, I was a freelance writer. I just decided to sell bento boxes. I just have like a call from God. It was like something. Even now, it's like quite magical. I was talking to my mom on Skype, and she told me, yesterday I read this article in a magazine about Japanese bento. And just in my head, it just popped up. I said, bento boxes. I should sell bento boxes. I like food, and I know people on my blog like Japanese stuff, like Japanese culture. So I just thought, I'm sure like Japanese bento boxes will sell very well. So I had this idea in late October 2008, and about 2 weeks after that, I opened my the BentoandCo.com, the first shops. It was in French only, with about 10 products at that time. And that's how things started.
Makes sense. So you had a blog. So you moved to Japan to study. You decided you want to stay there rather than find a job. You wanted to start your own business. So in 2005, you started a blog. So most of these readers were not Japanese, right? These are people maybe from back home or from France or international audience.
Yes.
that was interested in Japan because they weren't there, and they kind of got to see the world through your eyes. So you built up this blog audience, and then your business mind, your entrepreneur mind kicked in and said, I have an audience that builds. I have a lot of traffic. You said 800 to 1,000 visitors a day, which is a great I guess amount of visitors to start with. And so you knew that you already had a lot of an audience to work with, but then you needed to find something to sell. So you were selling just like T-shirts at first, and then you talked to your mom, and then you came up with the idea of selling bento boxes. So how did you I guess, launch this to your blog audience? I think there are other listeners out there that might have a blog, that might have a following, and are thinking about the best way to kind of monetize that audience. Like, how were you able to, I guess, launch it to that audience?
So I got the audience, but also what was very important at that time is, thanks to my blog, I got a lot of connection, both in France and in Japan. In Japan, I met like foreigners who lived in Kyoto or in Osaka, and some were web designer, programmers. I was absolutely not into this kind of thing. So I have two friends here I met through my blog, thanks to my blog, and they helped me to start the first shop. So one was a web designer, one was a developer, and so we just used, I guess, like a free template on Shopify at that time and modified it. And with a friend, we took pictures of products we bought. So, yeah. Actually, so the blog was not only about the audience and potential customers, but also like connection I got here. And in France, thanks to my blog, which was about Japanese culture and everything about Japan, I met a few journalists, because before we came to Japan, they just found my blog and they contacted me and say, okay, if I'm going to Japan for some documentaries, I would like to meet you and talk about Japan. So I kept this contact, and when I started my shop, I sent like press release to all of them, and some of them were friends who were in PR, and that's thanks to them, like I got media coverage from the start in some French magazine and newspaper. So yeah, for like about 3 years, I just wrote my blog like every day. I spent about 1 or 2 hours every day on my blog, and it was like just a passion, just for free. But I really loved it, and I just realized after that it was really, really helpful for me to start my shop, because if you start a web online shop, even if you have great products, I mean, there's no one to buy them. There's no one to talk about them. It's almost nonsense. So it was really helpful to have this blog since about 3 years before I started my business.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that's a really important point. Is just when you have a blog, where you have a YouTube channel, a podcast, whatever you have, if you have an audience you're building, it's not just the audience of people that are going to end up buying your products, but it's also all the people that, like, all the connections, like you're saying, the connections with people that could help you out with building your store. Web designers, it was something that you came across, but then also all of these kind of PR and journalist connections that you had to help you, launch the business. I think that's a great point that sometimes is overlooked. It's not just about building an audience of buyers, but you're building an audience of possible influencers and connections as well. So how did you, how did you like roll this out? Because let's say someone has a blog, or they also have like some kind of YouTube channel, some audience they built. You weren't just like, hey, now I have stuff you can buy, right? Like, how did you, introduce them to the products that you were selling? Did you sell them through your blog, or did you have a separate store that you drove the traffic to from your blog?
Exactly. So my blog was on Typepad at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty old. And it was on Shopify from the start. I have this account from 2006 on Shopify, and where I sold 1 or 2 T-shirts with my blog header image on it. That's all. So I use my Shopify account to start my first Bento & Co shop. And the thing is, even before the shop was launched, I talked about it on my blog. And I was like really open about it. I said, okay, I got this idea. I want to sell bento boxes. Now I'm going to try to get some from some Japanese maker, which was not that easy. when you are foreigners, you want to buy some stuff from small and medium companies in Japan, where they don't have any email to contact. You have to send a fax or to call them to get some products to things like that. So I talked about everything, and I think like people were like just very interested into like this process, how to start a business in Japan. Like when you are foreigners, it's not only about starting an online shop. It's as a foreigner in a like very special country as Japan. So it was another point I think which made the Bento and Co like interesting at first is I'm not Japanese, and I'm in this country that many people like. So I talked about that, and it was interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen other entrepreneurs do this where they are very transparent and give you the behind the scenes of them starting a business or running their business, and it's creating content. And I think I guess initially when people see or hear about this kind of content, you think that only business owners, only entrepreneurs will be interested in this kind of stuff. But you found that your audience that they weren't entrepreneurs, that weren't business owners, they were still also interested in this kind of content about you starting your business.
Yes, exactly. And actually, there was even some friends who just like read my blog every day, and they saw me starting this project. And actually, two of them, just a few months after that, just said like, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna also sell something online. So I was really happy, very happy. Like I was like inspiring them, even if at first it was like a really small project with almost no money, but people get inspired, and I think there's so many people who just want to quit their job and start their own business. So
yeah, that's very true. It's it seems like entrepreneurs are a small kind of circle, but I think what entrepreneurs can do is just give inspiration and motivation as well. And that might not be starting a business; it could just be starting some kind of project, something on the side, and just being able to see someone have these goals and set out to accomplish them. I think everybody can kind of relate to the motivation, inspiration that comes from that. So I think it's great content, regardless if your audience is interested in starting a business or not. Just kind of sharing your journey, I think, goes a long way to connecting with your audience and your prospective customers. So was it difficult to start? I know you mentioned that it was difficult specifically to work with the manufacturers for stocking these or for creating and getting these bento boxes. Was it hard also just to start business in a country that you weren't from? I guess originally you didn't grow up in. Like, what kind of difficulties came with that?
So a good thing is I didn't have any visa issue. My wife is Japanese. I was married just like since 2 months before I started Bento & Co. So I didn't have any visa issues, and my wife still works with me in this company now, but we are 15 people now. She was here with me from the start, and she took care of about every legal thing, I mean every papers we had to deal with, or like to contact also Japanese manufacturers. But actually it was not that difficult. And I think like when you think about I want like to start my business, and you think about like, is there a legal issue? Is there like, do I need to ask someone if I can do that? Do I need to get some certification or whatever? I think you just like give you some break, like things that make you not having the first step. Like it was the most important thing was this first step. And when I decided myself to start this business, nothing could stop me. And so I did not have any of this question in my mind, and I knew I just wanted to sell bento boxes online, and I knew it will be okay, and I could make money with it. So the only thing that I have to do at first was going to my tax office and just told them, I'm going to start a business, sell online. I said, okay, that's good, and just give us your home address, and that's all. And it was actually that's all the only thing I had to do. And then, it was just how to start. So just get some stock and get your website ready to launch, and that's all. So because every time some people asking me about how to start a business, the thing is just launch your products, even if it's not 100% ready at first. It will never ready. Actually, you just have to launch it, and that's the most important thing. It's not about like legal issue, about papers you have to fill, a form you have to fill. It's about you. Will you start it or not? Right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about how I think when, especially I guess new entrepreneurs that are starting out, we tend to think that, we need permission from this person or this person, and we need permission, we need to do this, and we need to get the privilege of starting a business. But what you're saying, and I think is 100% true, is that you got to give yourself permission. You have to give yourself the kind of runway to get started, and don't think so much about what could go wrong and what I need to do before I can launch, and just kind of get it rolling. And then as you go along, you'll really encounter what you really need to do to launch the business. But if you spend too much time kind of planning and thinking about, am I allowed to do this or am I allowed to do that, I think that's going to slow you down like too much. So I think this is a really good point about how you were saying that you'll never be ready to launch. It'll never be ready to go. Do you remember some things that you kind of had to figure out after launching that maybe you weren't 100% comfortable with during the I guess the very beginning, that you had to kind of quickly figure out for your business?
Yeah, exactly. It was logistics and preparing shipment. It was total mess at first, because actually we launched we opened the shop on November 23rd, 2008, and we got the first order like about 1 hour after that.
Wow.
Thanks to my blog, and people, at the time, it's not a lot about Facebook or Twitter. It was still a lot of the blogs, and people read my blogs, have their own blog, and they talked about it. Or there's this guy in Japan who is launching a cool shop selling bento boxes. So it was a very niche market, but I have other people talking on their blog, and so I got traffic, and we got orders every day since the beginning. And so at first we didn't have any cartons, any to pack orders. So when people ordered like just one bento boxes, we wrapped it in some bubble paper pack and craft paper and ship them like that. And I guess like maybe 5% of this like got lost or like broken during transport. So we had to figure out how to do it better.
Yeah, that makes sense. So are most of your customers outside of Japan?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
At first, 100%. The website was in French only. We started at first to sell in euro and not in Japanese yen, and it was a good choice. And we opened a website in English 1 year and a half after that. So the address is en.bentonco.com, and we opened a Japanese website in 2011. And we also have a B2B website now.
Okay. So what has been, I guess, the key differences? Because I think that you're in a position that's a lot, again, a perspective that's very different than maybe a lot of listeners, because you started selling to the European market, then to the US market, and then to the Japanese market. What are some, I guess, key differences that you found from selling to those different markets?
So on the French and English website, we pretty have the same bestsellers. It's almost weird, but it's the same. So, but lunchboxes culture is not the same in every country. So, like for example, in US, in other countries in Europe, kids have lunchboxes at school, right? But in France, not at all. So most of our French customers, we are still represent like about 40% of our revenue. They are just like university students or adults who just want to bring a nice lunch box at work. But we sell a lot also in US and in Australia, mostly mom who want nice lunch boxes for their kids. So that's the biggest difference we have here with the market.
Did you do any kind of research before launching into these new markets, or did you find out about this along the way?
Yeah, no. We just found it. We just understood that after that. Yeah, but at that time, there was actually quite well known blog about bento recipes called justbento.com. And yeah, Maki, who wrote that blog, helped us a lot to get orders from US and other English speaking countries. And thanks to our blog, we learned a lot about like reading the comments of our readers was really helpful for us to figure out what kind of different products we should add on the website and so on.
Makes sense. So today, like, what are some of the key ways that were the biggest sources of traffic? Is it still from these blogs that you've built relationships with?
No, because sadly, most of these blogs are not like where not some of them disappear, some of it like they don't work so much anymore. It moved to some YouTube channel now, or some on Facebook group, Facebook pages. Also a lot of it from Instagram. We got traffic. Also a lot of organic traffic. And we also like spend money into AdWords a lot, and sometimes also in Facebook ads.
Cool. So let's talk about each one of these. So the YouTube channels, how did you connect with them to? Because these are like influencers on YouTube that are like reviewing your products, or like what kind of people are, where are they coming from YouTube?
So yes, we have some customers who review our products on YouTube. Sometimes also, we have some YouTubers who ask us to send some samples and they're going to review. And most of the time we don't do that, but only if we think like the quality of the YouTube channel is okay with what we want to do and the image we want to preserve. Yes, we do it sometimes. But there's like a quite famous YouTube channel called Cooking with Dog. They have about 1 million subscribers, and it's a Japanese woman introducing Japanese recipes online. And it's quite fun because she's always with her dog in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And so we have a partnership with them, actually. They are so famous among Japanese food lovers. They now try to do something else than only YouTube videos. And so we have a license contract with them, and we're going to launch a bento box with their logo and also chopsticks. So it's something I'm really, really happy to do. We're going to start next month. So that's the first thing, and I guess the biggest thing we're going to do as a partnership with YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about your licensing experience in a second. But let's about this YouTube channel. I think other listeners out there are thinking about partnering with other influencers, other YouTubers to review their products or talk about their products. So, what's that process like? Did you? And I guess now at the size that you are, it sounds like a lot of YouTubers are reaching out to you. Early on, did you have to kind of find YouTubers and kind of convince them to talk about your product?
Actually, at first, more than YouTubers, it was so people who has bento blogs. But now, if sometimes they still wrote on their blog, they are more on Instagram or Facebook. So we have about 3 or 4 bloggers who just moved to other social media now, and we still have some collaboration with them. So we send them like new products, and they make some review, or they just use them in a recipe, and they show them on Instagram, on Facebook, and it's quite useful for us. Also, like every year since 2009, we do the International Chef Bento Contest, and so every year has a special theme, and we ask people to, according to this theme, to send us a nice picture of a bento, and so every year we also partner with bloggers, more like Instagrammers and people on Facebook. We have some popular page about bento or about Japanese food. They even if they don't ask, they don't ask for money but they like what we do because we know them since 2009 or 2009, so almost like 5 or 6 years for most of them, and so they are just happy to talk about us and talk about this contest, especially because every year we buy a ticket to Japan for the winner, so it's something we're happy to share with their audience.
I see. So that's interesting. You're seeing a shift from the people that you knew, the relationships that you knew from the bloggers. Now they're migrating over to Instagram, to Facebook, and to YouTube. Is that what's happening?
Yes. I think it's like just easy for them to create content and to get a wider audience, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I'm starting to see that a lot more in, different influencers or have different, I guess, natural interest in different mediums. Like some people like to be on video more. Some people like to post pictures more than writing content on a blog. So that makes sense. So how do you, when these YouTubers maybe new YouTubers that you haven't met before, is there a process you go through to analyze and make sure that they're going to be a good fit for your product?
Yes, exactly. So the experience told us that if it's someone who just review tons of products, it doesn't work. For us, it has to be first about something about Japan, not only Asia, but Japan and food. If it's not about that, it's not really interesting for us. Even we sell bento boxes, and at first our first customers were most of them like my blog readers, so they're interested into Japanese culture. So they read manga, they saw anime, and they knew about bento. But now it's not about that. Sometimes they don't know anything about Japan. They are not really interested into manga and this like otaku culture and whatever. They just like want a nice lunchboxes, and they read sometime in some women magazine or some recipe magazine about bento boxes. And especially in France, also in US, there's like many mainstream, like not blog or magazine about Japan, but like some media for mostly women about food who talked about bento boxes. So we got a lot of customers who just don't have any interest into Japan, but they want Japanese bento boxes. So it's big change in our audience since the beginning.
Yeah, that's a good point about how you don't want to look for YouTubers that are just reviewing a bunch of different products, because the audience is not built around the Japanese culture. You're looking for an audience that's going to these YouTubers because they're, talking about Japanese culture, and then it makes a much better fit. I think that's a great point, because you're most likely, if an entrepreneur out there is thinking about working with influencers on YouTube, you're most likely going to run into people that are looking for free products, for reviews, or maybe paid for reviews, and they're not going to necessarily have the audience that you're looking for. So that makes sense. You want to find YouTubers that are already creating content that attracts your target audience, but they're not like, only doing reviews. I think that's a great point. So let's talk about, I still want to talk about the licensing deal in a second, but let's talk about Facebook pages next. You said that a good portion of your traffic comes from Facebook pages as well. Is this your Facebook page or other people's Facebook pages?
Mostly our Facebook pages. We have about more than 45,000 fans now.
Awesome. So what's your strategy for, growing that Facebook fan page?
Oh, we post at least almost every day, and sometimes 6 times per day. And we have pictures, sometimes video. Lately, a lot of GIF. It works very well, more than pictures or videos. We also some blog post note on Facebook also lately. It's good to have if it's just about pictures of cute bento boxes, it might work. You can get some likes and some share, but we're also looking to create quality content, right? So to build our image, to build our brand, and to keep our brand like the way we want to do. So yeah, we just need to create good content and not only sharing things you're gonna see somewhere else. So like creating original content is something we try to do almost every day.
Very cool. So I think the point you're trying to make too is that you're not just posting pictures of your products, you're posting content outside of just, bento boxes.
Exactly.
So this original content you're creating, what's the process behind that? Like what kind of original content are you creating and how do you create it?
Also, like almost every week we talk here with two people who are dealing with marketing here at Bento & Co. And we say, okay, we have these new products, and like lately it was we sell also some food actually to prepare some Japanese takoyaki or okonomiyaki. So we just started to sell some sauce, and so yeah, we made some posts, and we talk about that kind of products, that kind of food, and not only about our products, but the thing, like we introduce also Japanese culture, right? It's not only about selling an item. It's not about selling one product. It's selling and introducing a world culture of food and so on. So yeah, we mainly on the Facebook page. It's more about introducing Japanese culture more than our products, and we talk about that, and we search for. These kind of nice pictures on Instagram, and we ask sometimes to the Instagrammers to if we can share their pictures, or we also like do ourselves some cooking here and take pictures or video and share them on the Facebook page.
And they're usually this kind of repurposing content from Instagram, from other Instagrammers. That's like they're usually pretty receptive to that. They're usually okay and happy to let you share their photos on your Facebook fan page.
Yeah, most of them like in US. So sometimes some also customers. Like one of them is a girl from Singapore, and she wrote a bento recipes book. So and we sell her book on our shop. So I mean. They're almost like friends, actually.
Very cool. So how do you actually, you're growing this Facebook fan page, you're posting a lot of great content to grow and get people to come back. How does that actually turn into sales? Like how are you driving them from the Facebook fan page to, eventually buying products from your store?
Mostly like you figure out that if you put a link in your Facebook post, it will not show up so well, right? So... like if we have a really cool products with really nice, fun pictures, we're gonna just add the pictures and some text. And sometimes we don't add a link into the post. But we got like comments, and we got sometimes in comments say, okay, where can I buy this? And we reply to this comments and we add the link. It seems it works like better like that. Or like if you want to attract more people, you just like make a post having like really nice GIF or pictures and with a link to your shop or product page, and you have to boost your post, pay Facebook some.
I see. So you found that when you just post a link directly to your store, Facebook's algorithm does not give it much visibility, but when you're posting maybe pictures of the bento box, and then in the comments you include the link, it's usually gets more organic reach.
Yes.
Very cool. But if you did want to just post a direct link, you got to pay Facebook some money to boost the post. Yeah.
Exactly. It works better like that.
Makes sense. Cool. So let's talk about Instagram. So the Instagram just traffic that you're driving, is that also from your own Instagram, or do you work with other influencers on Instagram?
We have our own Instagram, and a lot of customers just like share pictures of their orders when they arrived, or a bento they just prepared. So yeah, it helps a lot, and yeah.
And what's your strategy there for getting more followers on Instagram?
Sometimes especially during our bento contest every year, we have some hashtags, and we ask people to share the hashtag. There's no like over special strategy than
Sure.
This one.
with Instagram, I think the hashtag thing is important because you guys have a hashtag. Is Bento and Co. is the hashtag, and how do you? I think hashtags are a great way to kind of concentrate the conversation around a specific topic. But how do you begin to promote something like a hashtag? How do you get people to check out the photos that are being tagged with Bento and Co? How do you encourage people to start posting photos with using that Bento and Co hashtag?
So once we didn't have the bento hashtag, but we have a different one called I love bento, hashtag I love bento, and we tried this strategy, took a pictures of your bento and share it with I love bento, and we thought if a lot of people tried beginning to share the hashtag, they're gonna at the end they're gonna understand it's about us, and it might work, but actually it didn't work really well. I think if you share a hashtag, it has to be the name of your shop, or unless you are very big already, and you can attract a lot of followers, viewers.
Oh, I see. So you're not originally you weren't pushing the Bento and Co hashtag.
Yes.
But you're saying that you need to come up with a hashtag that's a little more generic and not based around your brand, and then dominate that hashtag. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, but what I wanted, I think it's quite difficult if you are not big. What I mean.
You're saying that it's difficult to use hashtags, or use hashtags specific to your brand if you're not big.
To use hashtag which is not specific to your brand.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. So let's talk about the licensing then. So that's something that's brand new, it sounds like, for you guys. How did you come up with, what's the process like? How do you even begin? I think there are probably listeners out there too that are thinking about working with others to license their products. Give us an idea of what does it mean to license your product?
So we don't license our product. We bought a license. We made a contract with actually 2 brands here in Japan.
Okay.
To use their logo, to use their brand, and to make bento boxes with their logo. And so we have the exclusive distributor or exclusive reseller online.
I was going to say, how did you identify these brands to work with to purchase their license?
So first one is when I talked before, Cooking with Dog, a YouTube channel. They have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and all their subscribers, they just love Japanese food. So it was perfect for us. And actually, I don't remember exactly. Oh yes, they introduced us in one of their videos last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember. So because we also have a shop here, a brick and mortar shop in Kyoto, and so they visited us and they made a video about me and our shop in Kyoto, and so that's how our first contact. And we contacted them again end of last year, and I was interested to know if they were okay to do something more with us. And but at that time they told, we'd like to do something with our brand, because we are just like a YouTube channel, but we want to also sell products, sell items. And so it was just a perfect match between them and us. I mean, they have a really large audience, similar to our customers, and so well-known brand among our target potential customers. And us at Bento & Co, we know how to buy products from Japanese manufacturer. We know how to make products, original products, and we know how to market them and to sell them online or in our shop in Kyoto. So it was a perfect match. And so we had some discussion about what kind of contract we should do, and so we end up with a license contract. So basically, in this contract, we decided a percentage. And so, for example, if we're gonna make 1,000 bento boxes and we're gonna sell all of one bento for $20, we're gonna get them a fee of a few percent to them. That's how it works.
That's very cool. So you're identifying brands that already have the target audience that you are going after, and then partnering with them to purchase a licensing or work out licensing deal with them. So, what are some key terms in a contract like this that you have to think about for any listeners out there that are thinking about purchasing a license?
First, just to be exclusive. So we don't want other similar brand like us to be able to make a bento box with them or chopsticks or like other lunch goods actually. So it has to be about exclusivity. And it's also about a period of time. So we don't want also like if our contract ends in 1 year and a half, I think, we don't want them to make the to be able to sell same kind of product right away after our contract ends. So yeah, it was I think the most two things we.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exclusivity, and then also a kind of a time limit on when they
Yes.
can. And also, is there a time limit on the not time limit, but is there an expiration date on the licensing deal too? That's important, like when it will end.
Sure. I mean, it's the first time, so for both of us. So yeah, we decided 1 year and a half at first, but I'm sure it's gonna be going well, and gonna sell a lot of products with them. So I hope we're gonna renew this contract for more than 1 year or 2 years after that. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. So I want to talk a little about shipping logistics. I think that you have again a unique perspective here since you sell very globally. What kind of issues have you run into because you have to sell and ship to all the way around the world?
Also, a lot of issues. Actually, more than marketing, selling online. The most important thing, and the thing maybe I like the most is logistics. And so we have customers. We shipped orders in 95 different countries until now. Mostly France, US, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong. But we also have customers every week in Russia, in Israel, in Brazil, in Chile, in Mexico, in China, everywhere. And so it's really super exciting actually. It's really fun to like just prepare shipment and to ship them everywhere. At first we used only Japan Post. So they also have like international services, pretty cheap. But from the beginning, I knew that it was not like so efficient. If we ship something by airmail, it's not that expensive, but it takes time. Sometimes it was 10 days, but sometimes it was 1 month to wait. Wow. In Europe or in US. So I guess it's the same in your way. If you ship something by USPS, you are not exactly sure when you will arrive in Japan or somewhere else. So from the beginning, I think from 2010, we had a contact with FedEx here in Kyoto. And it went very well, and they made a very good deal. And so, like, all our items more than 1.5 kilograms, 2 kilograms, it was cheaper for us to ship them by FedEx than EMS, like Japan Post Express Services. So, yeah, we started to work with FedEx, and then we have DHL and UPS. And so now, yes, we work with 4 of them. Depending on size, weight, and shipping destination.
Wow, so how do you manage all of this? Because there's so many logistics companies that you're working with.
Yes, exactly. So it was a big mess. And even when it was only FedEx and Japan Post, like before Christmas, if you get like 100, 200 orders in one day, I just spend the whole day like creating shipping labels on FedEx website. And yeah, now it's... So 2 years ago, we knew we had to do something about that. Like instead of spending like 3 hours or 4 hours every day to create shipping labels, so we started to use some app we found on Shopify App Store. I knew ShipStation and Shippo. I guess you know some of them, but they were. At that time, 2 years ago, ShipStation was out because it was not made for Japan-based or not US or Canadian-based sellers. And Shippo, we could use it, but it was not really... it was like still a very... it was just at the start. It was not... They didn't have any invoice made for customers. And we need an invoice when we ship internationally. It's not only about shipping labels. We need to create an invoice for customs. There's many issues. It was not a metric system. It was, things like that. So we end up creating our own system to create shipping labels. So we found an API, and we were able to integrate with FedEx, DHL, and UPS. And so we made our own system here. And so like instead of spending like 3 hours creating shipping label, it became like 1 hour, 30 minutes. But it was not so good. We have some issues with the API we used. So we end up actually making our own system from the beginning, from the start. And so I guess like next month, we're going to launch this new service on the Shopify App Store. It's called Ship & Co. After Bento & Co, so it's Ship & Co. And so we integrate with FedEx, DHL, UPS, and also Japan Post. And other Japanese carriers are coming soon. And so this is actually Bento & Co. We have customers everywhere, and we end up have many issues with shipping. So we created this new thing for us, for ourselves, and we end up to have a new business actually.
Yeah, that's very cool. It seems like you're definitely a true entrepreneur. I'm looking at your site, and if we have more time, I would have loved to gone into this, like things like you have a 4G pocket Wi-Fi rental business, personal shopper service, and now you're looking to launch an app in the Shopify App Store. So speaking of the Shopify App Store, are there any other apps that you rely on to help you run the business?
Yes, actually. So let me check.
Tell us all.
We use MailChimp a lot. It's not actually only a Shopify app, but it's connected to a Shopify, right?
Sure.
So we use MailChimp like a lot. We send about 5 to 6 newsletters per month to our. We have 2 lists. One list in French, one list in English customers. About 50,000 customers.
That's great.
We use a lot of we use back in stock. Really helpful. It's a cheap, really good app. So like customers get a notification when products are back in stock. So they can add their email on the product page when it's out of stock, and they get a notification when it's back. We use also Yacht Pro for reviews. And with Version, it's an affiliate program. And it's about all. Mm-hmm. And Ship & Co, the one we made for.
Very cool. So that's coming out next month, you said?
Yes, on Shopify, yeah.
Awesome. So what other plans do you have for the remainder of this year? What are some goals that you want to hit with Bento & Co?
So we do a lot of B2B actually also. And since 2 years, we do some trade shows all around the world. And so we had some booths in France, in Chicago at Houseware Show, in Australia, in some gift show all around the world. And so we present a few Japanese manufacturers. All of them, they don't export. They don't. Actually, they have some language issues. Obviously, they don't speak or write or read English. So they don't work a lot with other countries, and we have some contract with big Japanese bento box and kitchenware manufacturers, and we export their products. And to export, we have this over Shopify B2B web shop, and we do some trade shows. And this year we have 3 more trade shows. I go one in France, one in Melbourne in Australia, and one in New York. So these are big projects for us. Also, we have this licensed product coming soon, next month, I guess, with Cooking with Dog, the YouTube channel. So I hope it gonna brings us a lot of new customers thanks to their very cool Japanese food recipes video on YouTube. And we have also this new business, Ship & Co. We're going to launch it on the App Store, Shopify App Store, but we also connected to eBay and soon Magento, PrestaShop, and also some Japanese shopping platform. So actually, I spend more time now on Ship & Co than Bento & Co. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think next year the Ship & Co online service will be bring more revenue to the company than bento boxes.
Wow, yeah, I think that's great that you're able to kind of set up your business of Bento & Co. in a way that you can, step away and focus on other things. Very cool. So, thanks so much for your time, Thomas. So bentoandco.com is the website, bentoandco.com. And anywhere else you recommend our listeners check out if they want to follow along with what you are up to?
So I'm on LinkedIn, if you can find me on Thomas Bertrand, and through Bento & Co. on the About Us page, there's short stories about me, and if you contact us through Bento & Co., I would be happy to reply myself.
Awesome. So if anybody has any logistics questions, it sounds like a good way to reach out to you, especially since you are releasing an app soon. So cool. Thanks again so much for your time, Thomas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Shopify Masters, the e-commerce marketing podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs. To start your store today, visit shopify.com for a free 14-day trial.